Alright guys, so welcome back to a brand new video. Today's video is going to be slightly different. You ever been in a relationship? You argue and you go back and forth and then you realize that you may be wrong. And actually it gets to that point where it's kind of hard to admit you're wrong. And today is one of those days because I need to admit that I was wrong about the Bose QC35s. Let me explain. When I say that I'm wrong about the QC35s, I'm talking about the QC35-1, not the QC35-2s. So I tried them a while back, and after listening to them for a little while, I wasn't really impressed, especially considering the price tag at the time was $350. But now the QC35s, like I picked up at Sam's Club for $300. Spent a little more time with it. I wanted to try it some more because there were still people that said, well, these are just as good as the Sony 1000X M3s. Now let me stop there. Sound is subjective, okay? So somebody that likes Bose might not like the Sonys, and it may just be because they like this sound signature and not that one. That is completely okay. It doesn't make one person more right than the other. But I do want to say this, if it comes down to my personal preference and I had to pick one or the other, I would pick the Sonys. But the reason I want to say that the QC35-1 is a good deal because now it's $50 less than the other two. And really the only difference between the QC35-1 and the QC35-2 is these don't have the smart assistant button, which I don't really care. I'm not going to go out and talk, to my headphones to tell it to do things or look up stuff or read notifications. It's just not something I'm interested in. So this isn't a review. This is more going to gear towards how I feel about Bose and how I feel about the sound on these. Because first off, Bose kind of falls in that category like Beats. A lot of people just say they're overpriced and they're overrated, and some of these people have never actually tried the product. Now, I've tried both, and I think both companies make decent products, make really good products. When I gave the QC35s another chance, I noticed that the sound signature on these are not bad at all. But they're not Sony's where they have the bass, or at least the possibilities of bass, because the Sony's have an app to be able to EQ it and do different things that the Bose doesn't. But I think the $300 is more of a sweet spot, and I think that's where the QC35, the first edition, just stands out more. Now, sound on these are not overly boomy, they're not bass heavy. I'm not gonna say they're flat by any means, but they're pretty bright. Now, if you're a bass head, the Bose QC35s they're not gonna do it for you, trust me. But if you like to really have a somewhat open sound stage, something that sounds like it has some space to it, or you just like really extreme clarity, I think that's where the Bose falls in. I felt like with a lot of different genres, it sounded great. But if you're listening to like metal and things where you really want to feel the double bass of the drums, or you're listening to something where there's just real thick, heavy bass at lower frequencies, the Bose just kind of falls flat. But I think these sound absolutely amazing. And I think $300 is not a bad price for these at all. So why did I not like them before? Well, I go through headphones like crazy. So sometimes when I try a pair of headphones, I'm going to compare it really to the pair that I just tried or some other pairs that I'm trying at the same time. And I felt like Bose just kind of had this thing where it was lacking some bass. But the more time that I spent with it, the more time that I started listening to different genres and everything like that, it almost felt as though my ears were adjusting to this sound signature in a way that I really actually started to enjoy it on all genres. And I still felt like I was missing bass at certain times, but it wasn't anything where I felt like these headphones are garbage. So upon like the first time picking up, the one thing you're gonna notice is I paid $300 for something that feels like it has no weight at all. Like the build quality must be awful, but these things are so durable and they're made out of some kind of material. I think it's like nylon filled glass. Anyway, it's something different and durability is not an issue with these. Now, I really like the Alcantara leather that they put up here. It's kind of things that you see normally in like sports cars and luxury, like yachts and stuff like that. And it's really soft. They honestly could have put no padding on the headphone and it would have been fine. I mean, seriously, they weigh nothing. Not only are they low profile and they kind of just hide in, there's nothing special about the design. But the one thing that's fantastic is the noise canceling. But it's also the one thing at the same time that some people just can't do. Bose has such strong noise canceling that it kind of has a vacuum type feel to it. Now, some people don't actually experience this at all, as to where some people just cannot put these headphones on and keep them on longer than 5 minutes because that vacuum thing is giving them a headache. So definitely, if it's something you're interested in, make sure that you try them out first. but I turned out to really enjoy these. I like the ease of use. I do still prefer the touch controls of the Sonys, but to get around on these, the control on these, it's very simple. The sound, the levels are very loud. The clarity is what's getting me. I've gotten to where I enjoy listening to more details in sound, but I still want punch, and I still think that Bose delivers punch, but it's more of a tighter punch. Certain songs where I like to feel bass, I feel like, okay, maybe it's missing something. So I would say for people who like to travel, this right here, having that sensation of blocking everything else around you out, you can't hear anything but the music, that in itself adds value to these. Because when you put headphones on, most headphones sound great when you're in a room, but if you go outside where people are talking or you're around a bunch of noise, it starts to interfere with your music and it kind of takes away from it. And I think the Bose being able to block all that out adds just a whole nother element to listening to music that I started to really enjoy and I started to really appreciate. As much as I've said that Bose is overpriced and I didn't think Bose were really worth the money that they're asking for, I do have to keep in mind that you are paying a lot for marketing. You see Bose advertisements, you see Bose in all these different stores because they're paying for their spot to be there. So when you're buying their product, you're kind of paying back that marketing fee that they're paying to be in that location. Yes, I would say these would be better at $250 and that the QC35-2 would have a better value at $300. But again, paying $50 more for voice assistant stuff is where I just don't think something like that's worth it. If you don't change the sound any and you're not adding any extra features, that just kind of becomes overkill. Now you do have the option to use these wired as well, and when you use them wired, you're getting 40 hours of battery life, as opposed if you're using them wireless, you're getting about 20. So like I said, I was wrong. Bose, I think, makes a really good headphone here. Again, know that you're paying kind of the marketing tax that Bose offers with their products, but that's the same with like Beats and even Skull Candy, Sony, stuff like that. They would be a lot cheaper, but then you wouldn't know about them, and then you would probably love them because you don't feel like marketing is pushing them down your throat. So I think the Bose QC35s, at least the first edition, is well worth the money, and I am glad I picked these up. I'm enjoying them a lot. So this was something I needed to do. I needed to admit that I was wrong, especially in saying that I didn't think they were worth the money when I can see the value in them now. But guys, that's my video on the Bose QC35s. This is not a review. This is me admitting I'm wrong on a product that I didn't spend as much time with before or compared it towards something that was offering more bass and I felt like these lacked. When you take them away from that and you use them as their own type of headphone and you start to really appreciate the music that they're giving you and the EQ that they're giving you, I really enjoyed them. But guys, thank you so much for checking out this video. Thank you so much for checking out all the other videos. And as always, guys, make sure to stay tuned for more.